Stop wasting time with the wrong meditation teacher. Together as a team, let us relaxingly recite. With so many lamas and authors offering to teach us how to meditate, often for a substantial fee, how are we to know upon which teacher or technique we should rely? Should we rely upon the teacher with the greatest beauty, fame, popularity, acclaim, wealth, resume, credentials, or letters of recommendation? No, no, and no. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. We test the effectiveness of a teacher's guidance in the laboratory of our body and mind. First, we find a teacher regardless of gender, age, or nationality, and request instruction. We then enthusiastically practice the technique we are given for at least 5 minutes once every 12 hours or so for 7 consecutive days. Note, if we're not up to the task of practicing thusly, then the selection of a teacher is simply not our biggest problem. After the conclusion of the second practice on the 7th day, we vulnerably gaze within and ask, has this week of practice increased my peace and love? If yes, then mazel tov, you found a teacher from whom you could benefit. If not, then follow up with that teacher. If they won't or can't help you, then to hell with them. Find a better teacher for you at this time. No, the test of a teacher's wisdom is not whether their teachings align with either our preconceptions or what we've been previously taught. For such a metric will only ensure we will never grow beyond where we are at right now. And for goodness sake, let us not put ourselves in the hands of a greedy fool who would sell the Buddha's teachings. For although optional donations could be lovely, the greatest offering we could make is simply the enthusiastic application of teachers' instructions. If we wish to follow in the footsteps of the Buddha, be he real or merely archetypical, then we must bring a scientist's curiosity and enthusiasm to be Let's try this again. Then we must bring a scientist's curiosity and enthusiasm to be methodical into our spiritual journey. If it sounds inconvenient and maybe even a little scary, there's probably a very good reason for that. But is it worth the inconvenience? The Buddha thought so. This is why Gautama devoted his talents and time to teaching mindfulness and meditation. And now it is time for us to shift gears. It is General Leia Organa Saturday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers, just like you. Let us come to the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. We open the practice by bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness. I'm sorry, my mouth's full of dust. By bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness into the path of the wisdom of letting go. This really is kind of like a tongue twister, isn't it? Please chant with me. The circumstantial is seen yet never changing. The interpersonal is heard yet ever changing. The mental is clear yet ever changing. The mental is lucid yet ever changing. The body, let's give another edit, please bear with me. The physical is sensual yet ever changing. Notice this inscription, this superscription. Upon the creases of our right hand, we could count 12 inhalations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Upon the creases of our left hand, we could count 12 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But how are we going to count 4 collections of 12 sets of 12 repetitions each? Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Let's review the mechanics of mindfulness and meditation. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord, we are wired to notice in a very special way. We are wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of concentration and contemplation. You see, when we practice concentration, we rely upon our medial prefrontal cortex, we exhaust the front of our brain and trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. However, when we rely upon our sympathetic nervous system as well as our parasympathetic nervous system, we calm the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala and stimulate the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus, which is pretty cool. So I mentioned a parasympathetic nervous system. Let's take a deeper look. Every time we exhale, thanks to the parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and even less defining. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, and that suckiness could look a lot like elitism. Elitism will lie to us and tell us that we cannot meditate unless we can master the full lotus position, which is really nifty until you do some reading and find out the Buddha never taught that. The most ancient Buddhist statuary depicts Gautama, or the Buddha, sitting in what some would call the quarter lotus posture, where one leg, lower leg, just comfortably rests upon the other, kind of like the two pieces of bread in a sandwich. Now, ask an orthopedic surgeon, they'll tell you our knees are only hinge joints. So our flexibility has to come from our hips, which are ball joints, and we never want to force things. So if that means the first time you try to assume this posture, it is ungainly and asymmetric, fine, that's fine. Don't force it. Surrender to gravity and time and imperfection. Do that for 12 minutes every 12, I'm sorry, do that for 5 minutes every 12 hours, and within a week or so, you'll be surprised what your body can comfortably do. And now, without further ado, let us practice together. One last thing, though. I mentioned the importance of cooperating with our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems. What's the easiest way to do that? Simple. All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this as we feel air enter our nostrils, and then silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease as we feel air exit our nostrils. Clear as mud? Cowabunga. Let's dive in. This time we'll count 8 sets of 12 inhalations on our left hand. Thusly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are sets, not the repetitions. And if at any point you feel lost to sea, simply type your question in the chat window. I check for questions approximately once every 12 minutes or so. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, which seems vaguely obscene, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon palms up in our lap. That bread is just not resting well in my gullet. Okay. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are able to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Let's dig in. Now we're going to count just 4 sets on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Upon the tips of each of our left fingers, we could rest the great knuckles at the base of each of our right fingers, palms up in our lap. Now we already know that every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are already wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. And again, as you already know, every time we exhale, we are wired, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, to so physically relax and mentally release that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. Let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils. Let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. Welcome to the final quarter of this evening's group meditation. Notice the superscription. Upon the creases of our left hand, we could count 12 inhalations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Upon our left hand, we could count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And how we will keep track of this, our fourth collection of 12 repetitions. 12 sets of 12 repetitions each. Simple. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Each time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Each time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to our eye, is non-graspable to our hand. Let's apply this now. Every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualities such as shame or fame we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into just the mental. And now, oh, look, there's a question. So Robert asks, during today's meditation, an image of a tiger's paw entered my mind and caused me to feel great fear. Where could the image be coming from? Lama Jigme. Peace be with you. Well, thank you, and peace be with you too. So allow me to reassure you that your fear response is part of the way we all evolved. All of us evolved as a species, evolved a very specific prey response to animals that could eat us for lunch without breaking a sweat. So your fear response was perfectly natural. Now, we could go on a veritable snipe hunt, trying to figure out what was triggered and why. But there's something that's much more spiritually productive, is to simply recognize, to notice images as we breathe in, and then relax as we breathe out. Notice our emotional responses as we breathe in, and then relax as we breathe out. Well, the great irony is that the essence of mindfulness, which is the seventh fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, is simply silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils, thus cooperating with our sympathetic nervous system. And the essence of meditation, the eighth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, is simply to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostril, thus cooperating with our parasympathetic nervous system. And see, here's the cool thing. the more we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more we'll experience the remaining 6 folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path taking care of themselves spontaneously. All enlightenment is not the presence or absence of certain emotions. All enlightenment is that we're getting so good at noticing and releasing, or noticing and relaxing, that we're able to that we begin practicing it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. So we still feel the full spectrum of perceptions. We still feel the full spectrum of emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We still experience the pleasurable and the painful, the interesting and the boring, the glorious and the grotesque. But the difference is we're able to process it therapeutically. There'll still be some nights we have nightmares. There'll still be some days when we stub our toes. We will still feel the full spectrum of human experience, but we will be able to process it much more effectively. That is the liberation that the Buddha offers us. Not liberation from the presence of the good, the bad, and the ugly, but liberation from the tyranny they could exert neurotically over our choices and our utterances and our deeds. This ability to flow from love's centered spontaneity is the 6th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, the right effort that is effortless. That was referenced in the Tao Te Ching as doing without doing, or going with the flow. I hope that helps. Let's meditate. One more point. The statue at Kamakura, Japan, does an excellent job of illustrating how every time we inhale, we are already wired to generate a vertical traction between our tush and the back of our head. This causes our face to gently tilt forward to point and to place either on the ground or the floor, approximately 1 to 2 meters before us. Doing so opens up our scapula or shoulder blades, thus decompressing our lung meridians. Let us seal this practice by bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness into the path of loving kindness. Please chant with me. May all forms be lavish with blissful health. May all minds be lavish with wisdom, joy. May all relationships be lavish with peaceful love. May all circumstances be lavish with safety and good fortune. My friends, you have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 12 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's... I don't think that's correct. Yes, it is. So I would like very much to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.